application that does exclusive blogging.
That does exclusive what?
Blogging.
Blogging. Oh yeah,
it
lots
does.
of it out there. Lots of it. But I wanted to stream this whole meeting tonight. Hey everybody. We'll get some people in here when these notifications go out. It's John.
How are y'all? It's nice to see your smile, Rita.
It's good to see you too, John. It's been a while.
Yeah, it was.
Anthony's in here.
Anthony, it wasn't a bad one.
It wasn't a bad one.
No.
Byron, Ellie, hey Ellie. So yeah, we're here. Remember a few hours ago I said we'd be going live again at City Hall. We're here to fight City Hall, or fight whatever.
Or see, there's housing.
But it's John. Yeah, everybody wants to see John. John's doing well. Bokomo, how are you? Thanks for being in here. Hey, Don. So, Mofo, wow, long time no see. So yeah, it's Monday, and it's Denver's City Council public comment time. The meeting will start at 5. We are here waiting on another group, another nonprofit that has been very, very active in collecting data on what Denver is or isn't doing with the individuals like John, lots of John's neighbors at the PAR site on Zuni in Denver. This is a hotel that Denver hijacked with federal dollars during COVID. Tens of millions of dollars to find solutions. So, you know, there's a lot of keywords, there's a lot of catchphrases and word salads that we like to use when it comes to addressing the most vulnerable. But what we know at this time is that John has been at the PAR site for how long, John? Remember the day? We have a video. We have a video.
It's 6 months.
At least 6 months, because it was the middle of winter. I want to say it was January, December or January.
It was January.
Was it January? So prior to January, though, remember the cops were aggressively sweeping you, showing up, taking everything you owned, and either throwing it away, or if we were lucky, we got it in storage. And we have a particular live stream, the last time John was out on the street, where John Udlin from the HOT team, District 6, homeless outreach team that goes out during the sweep, really went out of his way for me because he's a good listener. And they had a voucher to take John and put him in a motel down here on Colfax, which is about 5 miles away in the middle of downtown Denver from everything and everyone he knows. It's not safe. John Udlin, Officer Udlin, listened to me and took some extra steps to get a voucher to put John at a motel in Inglewood that I had a relationship with, where I knew John would be safe. They got him a voucher. How long were you there before I had to pitch in? I don't know. I think they only gave you a few days.
Yeah, that was about a week.
A week,
Yeah,
maybe a week tops. But regardless, Denver did the right thing there. But of course, they didn't have anybody follow up with him. Nothing, right?
That's where you get lost.
Yeah, right there. Right there is the first derailment. Derailment number 1. You know, they're supposed to be setting these people up for success, and they're not. Hey, Liberty Blair. Drugs are bad. When did we start talking about drugs? Who's Nick? He's new here? Okay. So he was in a motel for a week. My nonprofit, thanks to you and all of you that donate, paid for another week to ensure that I could connect with a caseworker that works with the PAR site to start the process to get John into the PAR site. Again, that's a protective action room. Those are federal dollars, and they are supposed to be used to protect our most vulnerable. There's a process to be able to get into PAR, okay? And remember, the messaging is that all these homeless, they just don't want help. There's plenty of resources. They're just choosing this, blah, blah, blah. John, were you choosing to freeze your ass off every night out there?
Not really.
No, that wasn't something you
I-
preferred to be.
I got kind of stuck.
Yeah.
I couldn't get any funds ahead,
And you always worked. You're always scrapping.
yeah.
It was funny because we would just came up the elevator and pull this treasure out of your pocket. John pulls this treasure out of his pocket because he's always got treasures because he knows how to find treasures.
Yeah, it's gold, silver, and some sort of stone. But it's like a charm bracelet.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty stout. It shouldn't
Some
break.
good metal.
Yeah.
So that's what he's after. So those are the things that John does for himself to survive. And what do? We stand by and watch the cops take all their stuff away and watch the city throw it all away and
The trash.
tell them they have no right to survive. But anyway, but I was just wanting to point out that John has always found a way to take care of himself. So here we are, 6 or so months later, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So it'll be September. So at John's particular PAR site, they were given essentially eviction notices. Apparently Denver's done. I don't know. We're not going to pay for this anymore. And so y'all need to be out by September 16th. They contract with another third party. Coalition for the Homeless runs this site. John has what I consider we're talking honesty here because that's why we're here tonight, to do a presentation, to listen to a presentation about either the barriers that the caseworkers are facing, the lack of caseworkers, or maybe just caseworkers that aren't doing their job. Has your caseworker been doing her job?
She's interesting. She very well knows, all the departments, the divisions, the paperwork, from
Do you
Social
think-
Security all the way through.
Yeah, Jillian is fantastic. But do you think there just are no housing options, and that's what she's running into for
Well,
you?
it's a stalemate because, you have, like you were saying, you have the people that want to be out there, and then there's people that don't want to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as well, you have people that, want to get housed, and then
Yep.
there's 4 or 5. So the older people over there, they want nothing to do with housing.
Right.
They're saying no, they're not going to sign up for something and get into a place, sign it off at 30% of
Yep.
their income,
Yep.
and then lose a portion of that income.
Yep.
And, then.
So what
then
John
they're
is
stuck.
saying, what he's alluding to is that you literally can't you can't secure any kind of housing in Denver unless you have some kind of income, whether it's Social Security, whatever. If you don't have some income, you're SOL. And then to get that subsidized income, there's all kinds of tricky programs out there, like rapid rehousing, where they immediately throw you in a place. You sign a contract that says you cannot turn down a place. They throw you in a place because you have no choice, and they tell you, we're going to pay your rent the first 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and then you're on your own. Well, guess what? There is no housing here that is affordable for anyone that's already at risk. Okay? To have to come up with $1,500 to $2,000 a month, why are we setting people up for that kind of failure? Okay? We got a lot of problems. So in John's particular case, he doesn't have any secured housing yet because there are some nuances to securing his income.
Well, and then as the like in the 30s, in the Depression, they had boarding houses, and that's how America picked itself back up, is through boarding houses and having a number of people living all in the same residence, and sharing a bathroom, sharing the kitchen, the making of dinner, and it was a collaborative. Now, you can't even get into a boarding house. They're all special interest groups.
I'm going to help
I
you.
can't get that.
John's trying to put this on, and we're going to do this.
And the special interest
You hold
groups,
that.
okay, I got it. Outweigh the need,
Yep.
and they pay more for properties. So even if it's, like school, the boarding houses by the schools, they're all special interest groups. The students don't get to use
Got
it.
it. Oops. Okay. His
Thank
bracelet.
you. It's kind of funny. I don't know, but I just found it on the ground.
So he wants to make sure he keeps it.
Yeah. Well, this one's pretty good.
Oh, what do you got there?
So, well, it's really kind of neat because it goes into, and it looks like Christ.
That's some nice sterling, at
You
least,
know.
right?
Yeah, and it's all braided in there, and it's really, really quite intricate. But when I found it, it looked like a bolt. It was just.
Oh, it was
just-
smashed, huh?
No, it just had that jeweler's paste in there, and it was all covered up, and you couldn't see anything. And that jeweler's paste moves around so much that, it makes its own images.
What do you think that stone is in that?
It's kind of a weird one because it does have like crystal. And,
Yeah.
and you look down in it, and it's always changing.
Like a mirror.
Yeah.
That's cool. Where'd you find that, John?
It was just in the mud. Like I said, I
in the
thought it was a
mud.
bolt.
Just in the mud.
Yeah. And I started dusting it off.
So, Nick, you've been homeless, huh? Where at? You didn't even set off the metal detector, did you?
Yeah. I thought,
I did with my watch.
I thought the belly button
Interesting.
might get it.
Yeah, we have a serious housing issue throughout the country. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, what's going to go on here tonight is you're going to hear, hopefully, I think Ellie's going to eventually here post some ways to log into this meeting to listen live if you want to. Trying to record these things on a live stream is difficult. I don't know if I'll be buffering. I hope not. But you're probably not going to hear very well. I'm going to try to get in there and get a seat so I can get people, I can film people because we are at a public meeting. And yeah, you know what, Nick H., you can go. He can go. There's nothing useful there. It's a total distraction. Get rid of him, Ellie. Thank you. So we're going to go in here and find us a seat, and we are hopefully going to hear these statistics. They're real statistics. I know this woman that organized this tonight. I want to be here to support her. John is part of this group. There are a lot more people coming, a lot more people that have far more physical barriers than John, people in wheelchairs, people with other very serious health issues. So yeah, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna see how this goes. And I will just talk as I can. Thank you, Lois, I appreciate it. And John, I don't think John's doing public comment here at City Council, but we have been asked to stay because they're gonna do a press conference outside at 5:30, okay? So that might be where John ends up speaking. So we will see how this goes. And thanks for being with us. All right, John, should we head over there? Maybe go.
If you keep an eye on me, I'll keep an eye on you.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm going to get one more of these waters.
Oh, yeah, okay, of course. John's always worried I'm gonna spout off and get arrested or something. You've seen some videos where John and I have been in some interesting situations like Inglewood and primarily Inglewood, and then fighting with the Denver cops. And what's his name, that wanted to put up the crime scene tape that morning that they were booting John, old drunkard guy. What's his name, Ellie? Groves. Groves, the drunk cop. So, Denver Sheriff's Department. This is the council chambers, so let's head on in here, John, and see where we can sit to get by the podium. So, they're still not up here, that group. Do you care if we go up front? Are you fine with sitting up front?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. Because this is where all the action is. Somebody's got their stuff here. I don't know if they're taking up the whole bench, or I wonder if there's room for two of us. Well, let's sneak in here and see if they'll let us sit with them. Was this enough room for you here? Or? I don't want to touch their stuff. But... Okay, you'll do it for me. Thanks, John. Right. So there's your council members.
Sorry.
Is it okay if we're here?
Well, you have to talk right here.
Right. That's why I want to be right there, so I can hear it. But I didn't want to intrude if we were. Okay. Well, I tried, but.
I'm gonna be back here because that's what these are made for.
So this particular councilman right here, Kevin Flynn, he's the councilman over District 4 Police Department. He is currently very instrumental in helping the businesses do the things that they're doing to the homeless. That's Councilman Flynn. So I don't know if you want to make a note of that, Ellie, but he's an asshole.
Well, see, you know, and here's the entire problem is housing is unaffordable. I mean, I don't know anybody middle class, I don't know anybody, lower middle class or even at the low income levels that can afford the housing.
Right.
You know, I mean, you have to be full board discount.
John, middle class is barely making it.
No, middle class is.
I mean, and once middle class is gone, we're screwed.
No, I was going to try to
Right there, Kevin.
throw something in there, just to be a dog. You know, the last things to do in life. Start to.
And I've written to him, yes.
Not
and
the
not,
House of Commons.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. I'm talking about this asshole councilman over here. I've written to him. He's never once responded to the horrendous shit that District 4 has done to you guys out there. He's actually orchestrating it and cheering it on.
He probably has some sort of funds
Oh, he's got some sort of funds, all right.
to allocate. And you know, if you're not within his association or his network and syndicated group, you know, I mean,
This is why I don't waste my time. These people, this is all about politics to get themselves to the next level. They don't give a shit about people. This is why I don't come down here. I mean, I'm here because I want to support them and what they're doing, because that's what we're supposed to do. And when you show up in numbers, it matters, right? I mean, would you agree, or I don't know?
yeah, you have a responsibility. You know,
Yeah, your civic duty, right?
Yeah, to humanity. You know, I mean, the human effort is suffering. And it never in the history of this world and of the human Homo sapiens rectus pekinesis has there ever been a period where the human effort wasn't, you know, considered, you know, first and foremost, you know, in your community, in your household, you know, Nowadays, it doesn't matter. Your household could be in turmoil,
Yes.
and you could have all kinds of corruption just
Yes.
spewing out of your household. Who cares?
Thank you, Joey. Hip
They're,
hop.
they're gonna lie, you know.
Yes, they are.
In my day and age, if your household was corrupted or you were doing something that was questionable or, you know, outside the norms, you know, your traditional norms of your community,
Thank you, Booker.
you were cast out and beat up.
Yep.
You know, now
That was that was in the good old days when the floggings that political elites should still be getting. But here we are, you know, they're above us on the dais, right? We sit down here, they sit up there above the people and don't answer to the people. I've written that guy 3 times. He's never once. Not an aide, nobody. This guy makes, look it up. These council people make like 90 grand a year,
oh, yeah.
and then have an extra budget to do outreach and other stuff. So Denver, let me tell you about the money flowing in Denver for politics. Holy shit!
I'd like to get in on the bond program.
On the bond, I don't want no government
City
bond.
bonds.
Well, it's private. Yeah, private. You bet.
Then when you come to these meetings and they look at you and they start,
This is City Council President. I don't know where the rest of them are. They don't even have to come to the meetings.
Hola a todos, muchas gracias por estar aquí con ustedes. Mi nombre es Alejandro de la Cooperativa Comunitaria de Guarapé. Hoy estoy aquí con Sam, seremos sus intérpretes del día de hoy. Si ustedes prefieren escuchar y participar,
I guess some of the group is here. I don't know. They're still not in here.
that's like,
Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you very much.
This is the public comment podium.
City Council provides a half-hour general public comment session to hear from the public on city matters, except for any matter that is scheduled for either a formal, legally required, or courtesy public hearing. The public may participate virtually via Zoom. To maximize the time for resident comment, council does not offer comments or responses from dais. Council or staff may contact speakers following their comment if they raise matters that lend themselves to follow up. For those participating in person, when called upon, please come to the podium on the presentation monitor on the wall with your time counting down. For those participating virtually, when called upon, please wait until the meeting closes.
Oh, there's my councilman, Jolan Clark. He's mostly responsive, but he doesn't care what the city's doing to the homeless. He's Police District 3 and 4.
Your time counting down at the bottom of your screen. Once you finish speaking, you will speak back to participant mode and see your screen flash one more time. All speakers should begin your remarks by telling council your name. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please refrain from overtaking or obscene speech. Direct your comments to council as a whole.
Refrain from obscene speech. No, thank you.
Additionally, we have 40 individuals signed up to speak this evening. We will go through as many speakers as possible in our 30 minutes.
40 people are signed up to speak. They give a 30-minute comment time. Don't you love government limiting your comment time when they work for you? That's Candy Baca. She cares about the homeless. She at least cares. So we're going to start public comment.
Moving on to first name Tater. No, not on that. Okay. I'll be moving through these quickly, folks.
these guys are all upset.
First name Robert, speaking on Holiday Inn. Robert.
Try getting downtown. Oh, there she is. Our group is here. They're back there. Try getting to downtown Denver by 5 o'clock. That's why they do this shit. So, like, the first 4 speakers aren't here.
Good evening. My name is Jason Botello. I'm in District 10. I'm here as the president of the Colorado Public Health Association, and I'm also representing the Colorado Criminal Justice Reform Coalition. Additionally, I am here in the context of a behavioral health practitioner, social worker, and registered therapist with nearly 10 years of clinical experience, which includes service in the arena of substance use and addiction. But just as significant, I'm here in the capacity of a family member to a loved one who is in active recovery. I would like to thank everyone who made this proclamation from City Council possible, and I would like to applaud the efforts of the many individuals and organizations who strive to raise education and awareness around this crisis and its most viable solution, harm reduction, especially Lisa, Raven, and H.L.A.P. I would also like to acknowledge the many lives lost, the pain, desolation this crisis has caused countless families, including my own. At the same time, on behalf of CPHA and the CCJRC, I would like to unequivocally oppose the regurgitation of the Get Tough, war on crime and drugs rhetoric, consequent legislation in which individuals who are experiencing complex social issues such as homelessness, mental illness, addiction, and other symptoms of trauma and concentrated poverty are dealt with through criminalization and further marginalization. History may not always repeat itself, but it rhymes. We've heard all this before, but this time we should all know better. Prohibitory and punitive approaches to substance use and addiction have never worked. The war on drugs has failed by evidence, as evidenced by the fact that we all failed. Rather than continued bad investment in the Get Tough bluster, which drives the most vulnerable among us deeper into the shadows, it is time to rather get smart, to invest in evidence-based public health and harm reduction strategies and solutions through sector care, compassion and connection over cops, courts, and cages. Solutions that address both the symptoms and the causal forces of trauma and poverty. We are yet at another critical junction in the course of our nation's future history, at a time when many wish to roll back the clock on our collective progress with fierce abandon. This is not a question of what we do as much as it is a question of who we choose to be. Thank you.
That was awesome. He's talking about criminalizing mental illness and the war on drugs being bullshit. I'm not going to be speaking tonight, jack off. I didn't sign up.
Good evening, my name is Anna Miller. I'm a resident at the Quality Inn Respite Hotel. It's being run by the city and Colorado Coalition for the Homeless. It's a hotel that was set up for people who were of high risk due to respiratory and other illnesses, to keep us off the streets and more quarantined. Well, it's now been 2 years. One of the promises that was made to us when we came into this program was housing. Well, about a week ago, we got letters saying that we have to vacate the premises September 16th. They are basically throwing most of us out back onto the streets. They've offered us shelters. Some of us, myself, I'm actually lucky. I have gotten my housing, but majority of the people with the group I'm with, HAND, we interviewed about 39 people, and 87% said they have absolutely no idea where they're going to go. And everybody does not want to go back to shelters. They don't. These people are sick. They have illnesses. They're elderly. They've been there for 2 years.
Are they
They're
listening?
used to being, they're used to having a normal living situation, and now they have no time. And again, the city in the contract had promised us housing, and we're wondering where our housing is, and we want something done. I would like to see somebody push Coalition of Homeless to bring more case managers to the site, because the case managers who are there, be it they are working as hard as they can, they're extremely overwhelmed. And we're talking 400 people for 4 to 5 case managers, and these people they're overwhelmed, and these people are going to get thrown in the streets. And I'm sorry, but that's just inhumane. It's absolutely inhumane. The money that we have in the city, why is it 400 people have to go back to the streets? And on top of it, you get complaints from the other people about the homeless being out there already, and you're about to literally throw 400 of us right back into it. And I'm telling you now, that's 400 more to have to deal with every single day, having to put their tent somewhere, having to find somewhere to use the restroom. And most of them, I won't be surprised to hear that at least 2 or 3 of them by December probably have died. We have people
True
there
story.
that are 89 years old, people there who have had aneurysms and can barely get to doctor's appointments. We have people there who don't know how to read very well or use a computer. They have no idea that they have vouchers, but have no idea how to get to their place or how to get their voucher. And again, because their case manager can only meet with them maybe once a week if they're lucky, because they've got 40 more people to deal with.
So he's from John's Parr site, and he's talking about 400 people there being turned back out on the street. He said his housing got secured. But we have nothing for John. So these are residents from John's location coming to advocate for themselves.
Hello. I just got a brief little thing. Okay. This is about the homeless. I've spent 23 years in the homeless in the park, you know. And I don't know if I can do it again, you know. Because I'd like to have a roof over our heads and where we can stay warm, you know, lock our doors at night and not have to sleep with one eye open, so, you know. And the streets are unforgiving and cruel. You know, my case manager, I can't get a housing voucher, so I gotta stay at a shelter or something like that. And shelters aren't even fun, you know. Because last time I was there, I got no problems. But if there's anything you can do to help, it's greatly appreciated. That's all. Thank you.
What a sweet man. He's just asking for help.
Next is first name Francisco, about Quality Inn. Is Francisco here? No? We will move on to Roxanne O'Sullivan. Hi, Roxanne.
I don't know what to say, but I am part of the homeless community. Never been homeless before until we moved here together. Lost my birth certificate, moving on 2 years, and now they're trying to kick us out. We don't know how to get a place without documents provided by the government. But we do need help. We've got a lot of people that are sick and disabled, handicapped. Like Anna said, they can't read, but we do need this help from the community and from the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lawrence O'Sullivan. Not here, okay. Jamar Jackson. Jamar. Okay, we'll move on to Lewis Horton. Is Lewis going to come?
Thank you, Blop.
Okay, our next speaker is.
Preach it.
Cameron Clifton.
We can't even take care of our own. Look at these city council members. Don't forget about Kevin Flynn. Loves what they're doing to him out there. Loves it.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to speak in support of the proclamation from City Council in recognition of Overdose Awareness Day. My name is Pamela Clifton. I do live in Council District 7, and I work in Council District 4. So it goes without saying, I just want to say thank God for the Harm Reduction Action Center. 323. That's the number of overdose reversals that the HRAC participants have performed. That's how many lives HRAC has saved. First of all, harm reduction works. If you don't believe that, then you've had your head in the sand for the last 25 years. COVID wasn't the first national pandemic. AIDS happened, and over 600,000 people died from that deadly disease in its onslaught. Hepatitis C happened, and it continues to kill more people annually than any other infectious disease. And those numbers would be in the millions if it wasn't for the few brave souls like the people at HRAC who work daily, tenaciously, and diligently in the community to teach people how to use harm reduction techniques to save their lives and those of their loved ones. My own life, as well as the lives of my friends and family, have been significantly impacted by substance abuse disorder, trauma, brain disease, brain injury, and incarceration. And I believe if I would have had access to harm reduction services, harm reduction techniques, then that may have changed the outcome of my life. So my husband died a few short weeks after his 40th birthday from a cardiac arrest. Unfortunately, I was ill-equipped to handle his death, and I self-medicated using illegal drugs. I was arrested for possession of a small amount, and the aftermath of what happened destroyed my family. I couldn't afford to pay for good treatment and maintain a household. I did have a prior felony, so I was given a 6-year prison sentence. We cannot arrest our way out of this issue.
No, that's right.
In recovery, we say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The drug war did not work. On top of that, harsh criminal penalties like felonizing simple drug possession can destroy families, but real community-based alternatives can solve real problems and save people's lives. Harm reduction alternatives, overdose prevention sites, safe supply, trauma-based treatment services, evidence-based solutions that work to reduce overdose and increase recovery success. How about supporting a group of medical professionals and harm reduction experts to develop recommendations on how local communities in Colorado can enact safe supply strategies similar to those done in other countries? I am tired of death. We are tired of losing friends and families to overdose, and we're tired of being told there isn't anything that can be done. We need our leaders to be bold. We need our leaders to stop causing harm and do what we know works. 3,323.
We need our leaders to be bold. Plenty of people can preach it, but let me tell you, there aren't bold politicians in Denver.
Okay. Our next speaker is Dirk Lowry. No? Okay. Our next speaker is Charles Gilmore. Okay. Our next speaker is Helen Oliva.
Hi, I'm Mom and I are here to raise awareness to drug overdoses. We lost my brother Leo in 2008 to an accidental overdose. It's been a long time, since then, we've worked alongside the Harm Reduction Action Center to destigmatize drug users and overdoses. In 2012 and 2016, we lobbied and fought for the 911 prisoner to end new obstacles. We are disheartened to hear about the fentanyl criminalization that was just passed in the state legislature and will again make it harder for people to call 911 due to the 911. This American bill that we worked hard for law that is now being overruled. In a time where overdoses are at an all-time high, it is now becoming more difficult yet again. We feel that with awareness and education of overdoses will help save lives and again help my brother. We will continue to fight for our communities. So other families don't have to go through it.
So they spoke about losing a loved one to a drug overdose. There's a lot of people here from the harm reduction
Our next speaker is Charles Wallace.
side of addressing overdoses.
Our next speaker is Christopher Howard.
Yes, Christopher,
Christopher, come on up.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm here to speak on, not just for myself, but I'm speaking on this issue for the homeless, disabled, and the veterans. I lost hope, thinking I'm gonna get help, and I had to speak up because I don't think I'm getting enough help. Where's all these benefits supposed to be at for us? What's the help gonna be for all the people on dope, all the child molesters, this and that, another? I just want more help. Stop saying people dreams. It's like, tell me one thing, then it's another. I don't think that's fair to none of us.
He's here for the homeless, the veterans, the disabled.
Speaker is Tomas Hernandez.
Hello, Council members. I'm in your district, hello. I'm Tomas Hernandez, I'm the Executive Director of Tri Recovery Homes and the founder of that nonprofit. Lisa has been in my life for a very long time in my active use. I'm alive today, and I don't have abscess in my arms, and I was able to inject safely because of her harm reduction initiative. Not everybody in sober living gets an opportunity to get into recovery, get complete abstinence. It's just not for them, it's not in the cards. But harm reduction is a very overlooked and widely needed method that we're really need to take seriously and we are really need to fund. So I'm here today to ask this council here to really start focusing on that. A lot of people say less is more, but I'm in this situation here. We need more. And I, for one, would like to return every time if that, my testimony helps to get people safely and, how can I say it, in their form of recovery. Everybody's recovery is what you need. My recovery is not the same as the next person, and the next person, so on and so forth. Denver, to close, Denver is a very special part of my heart. This is where I partially grew up when I first started on the east side, and now my business is in your district, Councilman Forrest. And we get to see it every day in front of us.
Thank you, Defend.
If we had more funding and we had more resources for those people, it would be a whole lot better. And it's about to get a whole lot colder, and it gets a whole lot more real.
That's right, Anthony. So you guys know how I feel about relying on government to solve social ills. So
Our next speaker is Che D.
I'll keep my opinion to myself on that for now. The more money you give them, the more they fuck up.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Quality, and to tell you the truth, I haven't found deep. I like being there and having getting together. I've had a heart attack, and right at bad news yesterday, I was in my next school getting extended armor and when my symptoms torn. So if I'm thinking, I'm worried about me and my wife, and plus other people on the 60th or 15th. They said, oh, my case was full, we doesn't even have to lobby. But what if I'm still in the hospital, trying to recuperate from being operated? But I have problems reading, writing, I can't do very good. I've been trying to go back to school for our computers to try to better my life, but every time I try to get ahead, I get 20 steps kicked back. I'm not trying to do it now. I live in Colorado, and my grandma says, if anything is done, a closed mouth don't get fed. But we need to try to help each other get along. Because homelessness is not nothing nice, and it's getting worse. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having my time, and God bless you.
This only goes till 5:40.
Good afternoon, my name is Betsy Kraft, and I live in 80205 zip code, and I'm a peer navigator with the Denver Municipal Court. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here today, like many of you, to honor the 107,000 people we lost to preventable overdose in 2021 in this country, but more specifically, the 1,881 people we lost to preventable overdose in the state of Colorado, and the 436 people we lost to preventable overdose deaths right here in the city and county of Denver alone. To you, that may be another statistic, but to me, those are my people. They all have their unique stories with successes and setbacks, just like all of us. Those 436 people and the 370 in 2020 and the 228 people in 2019 were my friends. They were good people, and they were struggling to survive and to be seen as human beings, and they mattered. And we owe it to them and to their families to find solutions that meet people where they're at and offer compassion, love, support, community treatment, opportunities for a better future. We've heard from their family members. We've heard from their family members today and during the legislative process of the Fentanyl Accountability and Prevention Act, and who are still and to those who are still and are very angry, devastated, and rightfully demanding solutions. But I'm here to tell you, as someone with decades of lived experience with chaotic opiate use, criminalizing and mandating treatment for people who are struggling with substance use is not the answer. But you already know You already know this from the past 50 years of the failed war on drugs. So why in 2022 are we passing legislation that's aimed at criminalizing people struggling with substance misuse and those who are struggling with homelessness? We can do better. And as someone who's spent most of my adult life in and out of incarceration and on probation from drug charges in Denver, and as someone who has battled chaotic opiate use for years with 9 different treatment programs, and survived more than 12 polysubstance overdoses as a result of an unpredictable drug supply. Those were all reversed through naloxone. I can assure you that someone thought of me as someone who was disposable and not worth saving. And I'm so grateful for the Harm Reduction Action Center for teaching me how to inject safely and for connecting me to resources when I had nowhere else to turn. Fast forward just 3 years later, I work as a peer navigator with the Denver Municipal Public Defender's Office, and I provide hope for people going through criminal justice. People struggling with chaotic drug use and people with criminal cases, and connect them to behavioral health resources and offer emotional support while they navigate the court process.
Nice job. Nice job. Right there. You don't minimize people's experiences. She had a hell of a story. She's come a long way. That's... Yeah.
I'm Dr. Martinez. I'm from the Quality Hotel, where they're going to be kicking us out on September the 15th. And I'm like, still, I get stressed out because I don't know when I'll be out in the next month. I'm just trying to help myself to get a new house, a new place to stay, call a home, so I don't get sick or my husband doesn't get sick. And I'm trying to get my ID situated, check out all these apartments around this neighborhood. It's too expensive for my rate. And I just want to get a better place to live in. And I don't want to see us homeless on the streets or nothing. It's good for us to get places, because they told us they're going to help us, and they should help us a lot. I think that's about it, I should say. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Next speaker is Kyrie Autumn.
She's from John's.
Honored Council and Councilwoman Sandoval, This is unexpected for me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I am disadvantaged because I can hear what anybody else is saying, but I'm sure I agree with most of it. I'm speaking to you from the platform of Bachelor of Science in Nursing 100 years ago, and a 50-year career in nursing. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. And I want to address you from the healthcare specifically standpoint. This lovely young lady has handouts, if they can be handed out, on the original criteria for admission to the Protective Action Program. I don't know whether all of y'all know anything about that or not, but it was for people 60 years old or older with multiple or any comorbidities. The current verbiage in your program is to avoid people who, the program is set up so that people who might catch COVID, i.e. in a dormitory type shelter, are in the program. But unfortunately, money is limited, and so I would really love to express to anybody who has any power, I don't know how I'm doing for time, to reconsider the original priorities. I know people in the Quality Inn who are on CPAP. Everybody knows what CPAP is? He can't be on the street and run his CPAP. There's another gentleman who is thinner, a little bit better than my little finger, but not much. And his comment when he thought he was going to have to be put out and go immediately to a certain facility, he said, you die on the street first, basically. Both of them fit the criteria, and there are many others, okay? We were told the shelter program was shutting down. Program's not shutting down, they're just shutting down the Quality Inn, and it's the luck of the draw, whether you're, I'm 83, and I have lung issues, but I will be okay.
She's
But there
83.
are others who won't. But there's a lot of very young, healthy-looking people, and I'm judging it from my scientific background, who may have medical issues, but they wouldn't die if they catch COVID. I would, and there are others who would. In another facility that's remaining open, I haven't had a chance to go over there, but I can bet you any amount of money that there are a lot of young people there housed who would not catch COVID, or they would not die of COVID if they caught it in a dormitory type shelter. So I don't know how to do it for time, but it needs to be relooked at and made intelligent, medical type judgments. I don't know if there's a medical director of the program. There should be. Some of the companies that are involved should be reevaluated. I would love the opportunity of talking with whomever on the council is in the real decision-making position, who gets the money from FEMA and decides how it's spent. Because I can tell you again, I have an administrative mindset. I have run nursing homes. I know that funds are not being used to the best way that they can be used.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Funds are not being used the way they need to be used. But, here we are begging government to do the right thing. I want somebody to get up there and say, give us the fucking money, because you can't get it right. So that's the end of public comment.
Right back to 12 months. Way those girls. These are single citizens. These are disabled.
He ain't digging it.
Y'all holding down.
Council will never convene. There is no unfinished business.
Yep, we don't want anybody else talking from the public. So fuck the people. Yeah. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. So fuck you. Let's go.
They got issues too.
Yeah.
I like sitting in on their issues.
They get paid too much money. That's what the issues are. Good job. We'll see outside. Fuck this place. This is why I don't come here. They don't give a shit. 30 minutes public comment at 5 o'clock on a fucking Monday to hear from the public. Oh, we're done. Get out. See, you know what I'm talking about? And the people put up with this shit. And that gentleman that stood up there at the end, he wasn't done. He didn't get a chance to talk. You know? They don't give a shit.
No, they don't know how to.
Yeah, what do you think, John?
They have to address, tangible resources.
Well, they should, but that doesn't mean they will.
Yeah, and what's happened here is people were kind of taken just out of character, moved into the PAR program,
Yep.
and then said, oh, well, I give up this, and this, but you get your health. You start working on, your health.
And then what do? Kick you out. I mean, how stupid. This is what happens when we keep asking government. That woman in the green that was talking about harm reduction and her own personal experiences and that doing the same thing and expecting the same results. Okay, well, that's what we're doing. So look at that little old lady. Sweetest.
17 cents.
Yeah. You want to know how your tax dollars are being
Yeah,
spent?
they were at 17 cents. In 40 years, they've gone 20% or 20 cents up.
Oh, at least. Well, look at the stamp. Look at the first form of taxation with the frickin' postage stamp.
3% of the buck.
Ma'am, you were fantastic.
Oh, shucks.
You nailed it.
The important thing is, did they hear it?
Did they hear it? Yeah, probably in one ear and out the other,
No,
right?
here's what we
Are we
did.
going down?
I put it on prayer chains. I didn't have time to put it on the prayer chains before the meeting.
On your
but,
prayer
you know,
chain?
It's prayer chains. Do you know about
Oh, prayer
chains?
chant.
Prayer chains.
Prayer chain.
Chants are okay too.
Well, yeah, I
But
mean,
there
it
are
all
people
serves.
out there.
I'll let you get on there. We'll wait out
I
here.
tend to not.
We'll meet you downstairs.
My limit is 3.
Okay, so does someone else want to go down then? Okay, I'll go with her.
See, I would not survive COVID.
Yeah.
And I love my granddaughter.
Okay,
and
we're
still
good.
I
See you down there.
But yeah, prayer is power. Whether you're, I'm not preaching. Like
Do you
that,
have
but
extra
from my
of what you
experience-
Oh, yeah, of course, I do.
Do these have all the
So look at the
stats?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is what I wanted to talk to people about. So we're doing a press conference, right?
Yes, we
At
are.
5:30. Okay. So we're headed down there. And so here is everything this wonderful organization right there put together. So here's the introduction for speakers. So we surveyed 39 residents on their plans post-hotel closure. The findings, only 12.8% of respondents had housing lined up. 5.1% of these stated the need for shelter stay until their housing becomes available. 87.2% of respondents have no housing options on the horizon. John, I think they talked to you.
I would like to get one of those.
Well, so this is, yeah, you bet. I'll give this to you. But they were supposed to
Well, I'm glad you think
try to connect with every resident there, and they told me that they had talked to a John, but maybe it wasn't you. Did you get?
Are you sure you don't want to speak to the press? Okay.
My family doesn't understand.
Well, you can speak as Valerie Vaughn
No,
too.
this is a separate nonprofit that came in to the PAR site to talk to you folks
Maybe
about
if
where
someone else
things were.
Okay, we'll let it.
Did you remember talking to anybody? You talked to somebody? Okay, good.
Interesting because it's the
Got it.
Well, of course.
I'm not.
But
supposed to be?
Yeah,
Okay.
one, yes.
This, the PAR situation, those are homeless people. That's a network.
Right.
Those people are a group and they're networked and they're within a class of human beings or citizens in this community.
Right. Are we on the front steps? Because if this way, how are you?
Good to see you. Yeah, we.
You are such a badass. Thank you
Oh,
so much for all
well,
you do.
we all have our role, right?
That's right.
And John, John's at part
Yeah,
two.
I've always been a badass. in the best possible way.
That's good. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it because we got to be out there fighting every day. So.
Here for resuscitation purposes.
I can do that.
John's here for resuscitation.
Me too.
So here we are back to this.
And Arizona.
35 residents commented on the kind of support they've received while in PAR. 60% of respondents felt the case management they'd received was not helpful. 25.7% of respondents felt their case managers were trying, but limited by a lack of resources. 14.3% of respondents found their case management to be helpful. As for those barriers, 20 residents mentioned, unprompted, issues that impede their ability to attain housing. 40% of respondents are couples faced with having to choose between safety and their loved one, looking for a place in the woods with my wife to pitch a tent, somewhere hidden away where no one can see us. Putting on a list for a women's shelter and working on husband's ID to go back to work. He's 61 years old. Our shelters are terrible.
Yeah, they're overcrowded.
And there's a process to even get in them.
There's a process. You got every disease you can imagine is right at the front door. As you go in. Gangsters, narcotics, what have you.
Fighting, violence in there. The violence is bad.
Well, that's where you find, the guy that got hit in the head and is dead underneath the bridge over a $5 bottle of alcohol. And that's what that promotes. That's what comes out of this publishing.
Right.
I don't think so.
See, that she should remember.
She should, she will.
The working man shelter is a different thing.
That's where it
But
is.
that's the whole thing. There has to be steps. There has to be a program, and there has to be some organized structure.
Oh, of course. Right.
To even to measure whether you're doing good or you're doing bad.
Yeah, that's called accountability. And that doesn't exist over all this government spending.
People aren't accountable. You can just spend as much as you want. We don't have to worry about it. It's the generations.
Hi, Therese. Yep, this is John.
Do you want to speak at the press conference?
No, probably not.
John, John, I really want you to consider doing it because you're very good.
Well, what is it?
They'll present you with a question. Look what they're doing there. They're just got a microphone. See, and they're just kind of sitting there telling you didn't speak, so you'd be a good one.
Well, there's not much, like I say, affordable housing.
That's
it's not
what.
affordable.
That's.
It's not affordable. It's not affordable housing. It's
There's
not
Jerry.
affordable for the people that are the next generation and the next generation. They don't do that. It's not a reality.
Those are things that need to be said, John.
If you have old trust money, you have an old family money. Affordability? I don't know anybody that's bought a home.
No. In this market? No.
Not for years. Not for probably 30, 40 years. Our parents, my parents, yeah. My generation did that. But that was the end of it.
If you are a person of Quality Inn or allied party, or even supportive of housing for Quality Inn residents, and you're okay being on camera, you come and gather together so we can all stand together up here. If you don't want to be on camera, that's cool, just stand around in the back circle, and that's great, but we'll just gather right over here.
Will you go stand with those folks so they can have you on camera?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. She's just asking people to stand up there. Well, you can stand in the back.
Yeah. So these are all folks from John's.
I didn't hear what you just said.
She asked all of you to come over there and just, if you are fine being on camera, they just want to get a, I think a group shot. You don't want to be on camera. You're on camera in that council chamber.
Well,
and you did so good.
Broadcast, and if it is, I'm leaving up to you know who, and
but you want people to see the story, right?
They can hear it. I'm okay. If it happens, it happens. But I'm not gonna fight for it.
And that's fine too.
We are here as residents of Quality Inn, as allies of Quality Inn residents, of people who have been deemed at risk during the health emergency, who were promised housing, and for years have been waiting only to be met with a closure that is resulting in the majority of folks being sent back out onto the streets. We surveyed 39 residents on their plans post-hotel closure. The findings showed that only 12.8% of residents had housing lined up. 87.2% of the residents have no housing options on the horizon. This means that 51.3% have no idea where they're going to go. 23.1% will be forced outside onto the streets. 5.1% will be forced to leave town. 5.1% were told by case managers that they'll have a bed at a walk-in shelter supposedly reserved for them. And one person will have motel stay for 1 week before being turned back out onto the streets in this dangerous position. 35 residents commented on the kind of support that they've received, with 60% saying that they felt the case management they received was not helpful. 60%. When we're in a situation where 87.2% of respondents are going to be back on the streets or back in shelters or anywhere that's unsafe for them, this is not a success. When we have 60% of people saying that their case management is not helpful, this is not a success. We have 25.7% of them saying that they felt their case managers were trying, but were limited by a lack of resources. The truth is that we recognize that a lot of the case managers are overworked and under-resourced, but the effect of this on the hotel residents is one that is inexcusable. People being put back out onto the streets in unsafe conditions. We have people with a range of barriers that they're going to be faced with. 40% are people who are couples, faced with having to choose between safety and their loved one. They're saying things like, looking for a place in the woods with my wife to pitch a tent, somewhere hidden away where no one can see us. I'm being put on a list for a women's shelter. My husband's working on ID to go back to work. He's 61 years old on August 26th. We need more facilities for couples. 35% of people referred to their health issues. Disabled for 33 years, currently injured, cannot get through another winter, cannot survive another bout of COVID. I plan on living in a vehicle or on the streets in a wheelchair. Buy a tent and an airbed and search for a place. Safe for a deaf person? I don't think so. Wheelchair and deaf. We have 20% of respondents who received housing vouchers but will be left to the streets if they cannot find landlords to accept them, so they still have nowhere to go. They're at risk of losing their vouchers if housing isn't found within a short amount of time. A stark reality that contributes to the voucher's problematic nature. 15% of the residents have pets, causing them to choose between a fur baby and a shelter. 10% are calling out the infractions on their rights and dignity. We and everyone in our position are second-rate citizens. Generally, people don't care what happens to us. We want better housing rights. One person mentioned the lack of felon-friendly housing and the incredulous depth of their plight. The last time I went to prison was in 1999, so it's hard for me to get housing. I want to live a decent and peaceful life. I'm not looking for trouble. So these are the people that you see up here today. Many of them could not be here because of ailments, because they're physically unable to, because their feet are swollen, because they have colonoscopy bags attached to them. Not colonoscopy, but the other word. Attached to them. And basically, these are folks who are the most at risk, the most in need of support, and the city and CCH are turning their backs and not providing the support to all of the residents there. So we ask collectively, as a people, that the city of Denver and that CCH and supporting organizations rise up and support the folks that have been relying on them, support the people who, some of which still have hope for an outcome, and, you know, depend on this housing for their very survival.
Don't forget the like button, folks. Share away.
Look who's here. Brian.
I do have a statement
That's
from
cut the
someone
plastic.
who's not
How come
here.
you're not streaming?
Dead battery.
Dead battery. Not
Oh,
just an excuse, huh?
The other phone's in the car.
This is a statement written by one of the residents.
Were you in the
First
meeting?
off, I'd like to say that homeless people are critically and hatefully misjudged and frowned upon because society feels we do not have a place and we do not belong. Hi, my name is Pat Valdez Romero and I have been at the Quality Inn for 9 months now. When I first came here, I had been sick from COVID for 3 months, and I expressed to staff that I could not survive another cold winter or another bout of COVID. I was treated so good and so welcomed, but compared to the way I'm being treated now with much negligence, because we have been case numbers and people who could be considered a donation purpose, or someone who could be counted for a donation or monetary value for the state. I have been very grateful for the help I first received, but now I'm just another case number or name that is in their way. I got my knee injured on site at Quality Inn and have been in pain since January off and on. When I get this unbearable pain, I cannot walk, much less pack and get my room ready. I have been in pain this way for over 10 days and barely got offered a walker on Friday. We all need help for whatever reasons, but mostly to be housed. We are tired of being homeless.
There are people asking for help. No, they don't want it. They all want to be out here.
I've been in
You see
Colorado for 7 years. And for 7 years I tried to get food stamps. I got them last week because I demanded that I have them. I said, if you do not get them for me, I do not want you as a case manager. Everyone else has failed. If you fail, I'm done. So now that I know you have to demand and speak forward for what you want, or you're not going to get it. And we're not getting housing. We're not getting the attention that we need to get the housing. It's like, well, now you have these options. Leave, or we'll put you in a shelter. I was in the shelters. It's cattle. You go in the barn at night, they put you out in the pasture during the day. You're not fed well. You're not treated well. There's a lot of mental illness and other issues, talking, burping, crying, moaning, groaning, and try and sleep in that. The mayor came down to the streets one time and said, why did you in the shelter? I said, well, I'd like you to try it for a couple of weeks and then we'll talk. And they said, well, what's the problem? I said, go in there and you'll know. There's bed bugs and mice and cockroaches and mental illness and butt to butt. You're sleeping right on top of somebody. They roll over and they're on you in the middle of the night. Now they have a little bit better situation, but it's still not well. It's not healthy. It's not feeding us the moral and the, you know, what we need for our souls, for our minds, for our health and our wisdom and our growth. And we're growing through this because this is painful and you grow through pain. But I don't want to be told, I was in this motel, within a week they told me I had COVID and I said, show me the paperwork. Oh, well, we don't have it. So somebody told you to tell them to tell me that there's nobody that can prove it. So I was put in quarantine. In the first room, there was a bed with a blood stain on the bed. And I said, I want another room. And they wouldn't even come in the room. Put me in another room, the bathroom leaked. Every time I go in, water on the floor. So they put me in another room and labeled me a troublemaker. And I said, well, so when I call the health department, nobody will be here.
I
So
like
then
this
they put
lady.
me in another place. And I was there for, fortunately, a year and a half. Then they said, you're out. You got to go. Hurry, move, leave. Push, push, push. Now I'm in Quality. And the same thing is happening. In 2 weeks, I will be told, shelter, leave the state, go on the street, or What are my other options if they don't get me housing? I need somebody who will really do it, not somebody who will say they're gonna do it.
Any other residents looking to speak?
What are your thoughts about this problem, Arnold? What solutions are? You got a piece of red right here. One more.
My name's Anna. I'm a resident of the Quality Inn. I also work with hands. I also want to point out this is also today is Harm Reduction Day, Awareness Day. I myself am a recovering alcoholic and heroin addict. I've been clean for over a year and 3 months of heroin, and I'm
Good job.
But my point being is, I didn't get sober till they put me in these hotels, and I want this to be shown that by putting people in these housings, they have the opportunity to get.
Got clean getting into Quality, getting into this PAR site. I want to talk a minute about this organization, HAND, because this is another nonprofit, small nonprofit. They take a little bit of a different approach to some things than I do, like, don't let me forget my stuff there. Their approaches are really just doing the same thing and expecting different results by telling government they're not doing it right. And we already know that. And they need to be demanding of more money. Because if I was going to spend time addressing government, I would not be asking government to fix more of the same thing that they're fucking up. That's just me. But anyway, these are good people. I do support what they do. They are here. They put this together tonight. The founder right there is Therese in the brown t-shirt, the purple bag, and she is incredible. She's been in a lot of advocacy positions for the homeless for a lot of years in Denver. She's a very sweet woman, very practical, very intelligent, and she does things like this. And she just started this nonprofit not too long ago, House Keys Action Network Denver, HAND. So I'm not sure. I don't think they have a website, but anyway, I just think it's important that you know about them, and that is why John and I came tonight to support their efforts, because John is one of these people at this PAR site that still doesn't have housing. And he didn't even speak tonight, but that's okay.
I can't speak.
You talk to us. You talk to us. So now you've seen it, okay? I have plenty of documentation about what's not working. It's still not working.
Yeah, I think it's the overpopulation.
Overpopulation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so let's eradicate the homeless because they're the easiest ones to get rid of, huh? Let's take everything they have that they need to survive and leave them standing on the street, because that's the answer to homelessness.
That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. It's not okay. And so they're talking about harm reduction here today too. I guess today's harm reduction day. I don't know all this stuff. I don't keep up. So harm reduction is all throughout the United States in major cities. And there's a lot of controversy around it because it involves safe injection sites. We could really debate that and go down a huge rabbit hole on that. But until you come out here and see it with your own eyes and talk to people like that sweet little gal in that purple dress that was at that podium inside making public comment, that little woman talked about how harm reduction literally saved her life. She had numerous overdoses. She's now recovering. She's got a job as a court navigator for the public defender's office. And so she matters. And that's what it's about. And until you understand the individual and how you cannot minimize their experiences without first saying yourself, yeah, I know all about that. I would never come out here and pretend that I know what drug addiction entails. Okay? I don't ever, I don't mince words with folks out here. And we have some serious shit that goes on out here. Okay? And a lot of it is not on camera. Let me tell you. And yes, I have witnessed several overdoses. And it's a real crisis. So if we're going to keep criminalizing it, yes, keep expecting the same results because government justifies its existence by saying we've got to solve these problems. Give us more money. And let's be real, drug addiction isn't just affecting the homeless. Come on, people. Just because you see this out in public doesn't mean it's the only place it exists.
Isn't that an emergency fund?
Say that again.
There's an emergency fund?
Emergency fund?
Yeah. I think that...
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought there was. There was a part of it that was cool. And there was like a small amount, like a third of a penny. A third was put into an emergency.
Oh, yeah, for the homeless, specifically to address homelessness. Yes, you're right.
It does not, it is slow to anger and it does not keep a record of wrongdoings. Going into our interactions with the bureaucrats, I think this is important. That you as first when you ask, must take a deep stance because we will be asked to move up to the seat of honor. They will be humbled when they are asked to down. I'm talking about Uncle Daddy Attorney General. You should know about this. These are what people go to law school for.
So,
We overstepped our growth. You know?
What do you mean overstepped our growth?
We've always been able to keep up with it. You always had the people that were here had 2-3 jobs, full-time jobs.
Yeah, it's when we had government, less government too, John.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, you
And
know?
Councilwoman Gilmore wants to be mayor next year, you guys. I don't know what's worse, the Denver mayor's protege pretending to quit working for him. He thinks that y'all medical treatment should be forced on people that don't want to get psychological help. Okay, this is Denver. We don't do that here. Thank you.
Resource and development. You know, when have you heard of R&D? You know, I mean, they got rid of it. Research and development. You don't get tax break. You don't get advance or income credit for taking out,
Right.
you know, taking 2-3
He's
guys
talking
that
about
are
income credits,
intelligent
John.
and progressive. They look into the future and they got future ideas, but there's no place for this type of that type of thinking. You know, it was funded out. They took it out of the
I want to listen to you. Is that a black guy? Oh no, that's just you. Sorry.
It could be.
Look, I know. I got housing back in 2017. I lost it. I had to go right back out here on the street. And I got housing again. But it would do no fault of my own. I just figured I didn't get a bill. But that bill is something else. But right now, we need to stand in solidarity with Quality Inn. Because if we allow 189 people to become homeless again, we are just as much fault as the city is. I don't give a damn how you look at it. I wouldn't vote for one person to be mayor.
Mm-hmm.
One person. Because then I know that individual will get the job done. will get the job done. I mean, I know there's some people running right now that hopefully won't be bought and will get the job done to where we don't see this every day. We won't see the homeless. Well, the point is, many times people have said that to house somebody. We have said that for 10 years. For 10 years, housing. The crime rate will go down. Even the drug use will go down.
Right.
Because how can you heal yourself in a miserable situation? It cannot be done. It cannot be done on a magnificent scale to where people have something to look at. Because when you're in the house, your mind, your body begin to heal. And what we are doing right now, and most of the people over there are senior citizens like me. I'm fortunate that I got housing. But at the same time, I'm looking out for everyone that stand over there at the Quality Inn, because if we allow this to happen, guess what? The A-Law will be next. See, we are La Quinta. That was the La Quinta. In other words,
the La Quinta Par site. You've seen me over there. Brenda is over there.
But the city people in there is perpetuating it.
So this is the start of those closures.
And this is ridiculous. Because anybody in there that's running, they ain't did shit for us for 3 years, 3 months. And I know damn well they ain't gonna do shit in the 9 months. Because
you're right,
every Monday while you come up here and speak and listen to other people, I'm watching the city council. All but one show very interest. One out of the 13 show interest in what people are really saying. Like tonight when they said, oh, we really like hearing from you. We don't want you to hear from us. Because that shouldn't be the issue. The issue should be telling us what the fuck they are doing to eliminate this damn issue. Because this is getting worse and worse, and it's gonna keep getting worse until we get the right people in these seats. Until we do that, the same bullshit is gonna happen.
We ain't getting the right people in those seats.
We're treating the homeless like they got leprosy. Thank you.
Yep, excellent. Yeah, hi Peter. You're exactly right. Here she goes
I
again.
had told Dee I really didn't want to speak, but I can't help it.
Yay!
Somewhere back before the Jones, I personally would like to thank FEMA. And those of you who don't, and most of you know the policy.
She wants to thank
the money
FEMA.
for this protective action
She's
program
thanking FEMA
came
for the
down
money.
from the federal government, who at that time was being led by a person that's not a favorite of mine. But all this money, which was a lot of money, the problem came when certain other organizations got involved and the way the money is being spent, and I totally echo the treatment that we get. It's unbelievably abominable. Not by the case managers. I actually have a wonderful case manager who should be saintly. But the staff that runs the day-to-day operations.
She's 83.
And the way
She's
that
sweet as
money
pie.
is spent,
She said she used to run nursing homes
there are some
when she was talking
For
inside.
those of you out in the world who are listening, when I first became homeless back in the spring of 2019, the book had just come out called
Why did this woman become
The
homeless
Homeless Industry.
in the spring of 2019? Why? How do we let this happen? This 83-year-old woman
And it cost $70.
became homeless at the age of 80 years old.
But now,
What in the fuck are we doing?
no, I go way back, as you can tell. And it got put out, actually before the war on property, it was even known that most of the social services money went to the social service people, not the people for whom
She's not wrong.
I got a nurse over here
She is not wrong about a lot of things she's saying.
It is time to end it. There are solutions. Along the railroad track, along the light rail, going from the city of Denver out to Milton, there's all this beautiful vacant land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's on the other side of the tracks, except it's not. Sometimes it's between the tracks, so that would work. Right? Can I get another amen?
Amen.
And there are,
shout out to a person named Cole Chandler. Most of you may not know him, but
Cole
he
left.
was instrumental in the little tiny house village.
He went to work for the
Made
government.
Tiny house village. 11 whole houses at $21,000 per house with a shared bathroom and shared kitchen. We can do better. But anyway, the point is, you can get a tiny house for $1,200, and then you can get the Blessed Lutheran people in Jefferson County to help put the asbestos stuff up. You know, the insulation.
Insulation.
I know because it happened. The younger man was talking about leaders. The leaders, what you need is leaders who can see what can be done. Because
We need
people,
leaders.
maybe good-hearted people,
No, we
but
don't.
they
We
don't
need
know
less
what to
government.
do. How many of you old enough to remember Father Woody?
Yeah, Father Woody was
Hallelujah for Father Woody.
Um,
Who put the
a,
people in the basement of his church?
yeah.
I'm going to use Greg's forgiveness.
Okay, we'll leave that alone.
Mom family in Jefferson County. How long can I talk?
Now she's asking how long can she talk.
And
She's so sweet.
A movement was spearheaded in Jefferson County to put the families in the church basements in Jefferson County.
She's
and
very
that
passionate.
particular ministry lasted 10 years.
And we're
with
gonna put her out
one
on the street.
paid staff member. Everybody else was church volunteers from Jefferson County. It finally closed down.
So
because of
remember, I've got 73-year-old Brenda
Woody and his crew had vouchers for motels.
at another par site.
The point is, there is a solution. Everybody could have his little $1,200 tiny house and his little 1,200 feet garden next to it and own it. Okay? Now,
Yep.
I'm too
Ownership. Home
old
ownership.
to spearhead another shelter in the last 10 years. But Mr. Anschutz, who, for those of you who don't know, is a deeply Christian man.
She knows a lot of
Again, I
history
remember in '86 when
in
the
Colorado.
gangs were coming in. And because of Mr. Anschutz, there's not anywhere near as big a gang problem in Denver as they thought there was going to be. Very few people know about this, but a shout out to Mr. Anschutz, who I think probably owns the land along the railroad, and I think the right people talking to him, who might be
Yeah, you're right, Ellie.
chaplain of the Rockies. You know, there is a solution. We must not give up hope. We must work together. We must weed out the people that are evil
Wes, that's
and
horrible.
wasting the money and throwing it away and mistreating
But she
people that they're
said it.
getting paid to
The,
treat.
the money is not being spent. That's how she finished her speech inside.
I think I'm going to end with this.
That's
but
how
I
she's
do-
finishing it out here.
Anna knows how to get in touch with me, anybody who's in a position to do something about the things I'm saying. I am too old. I make it through one day, I have to rest the next day. But, what was I going to say? Oh, they have tried, at the Quality Inn, they have tried so hard to get rid of me. And most of the people here don't know anything about it. But I obey every single rule because I'm trying to stay alive for my granddaughter. But they can't get me for anything, so they have made up lies, total outside lies, trying to get rid of me. I'm still there. And, you know, just this last week, they tried to cut a week off my stay. I'm the only one. They tried to cut a week off my stay.
Girls are shaking their head no,
just to
but
get rid of me so they could still say they won, even though the program's ending.
she might be a little confused. I don't
Rid
know.
of the people that are the problem,
But
and it's not CCH
don't
that's not the problem. CCH
don't
is
discount what they're saying about how these shelters
their leadership made
and these motels have been run, because you saw videos with Sarah. I don't know if you guys remember that, where they don't allow law enforcement to respond to an active assault and then kicked her out. Yeah, there's some problems the way some of these have been ran. But John's been at PAR for quite a while, he and Jerry, and we haven't had any issues. But that doesn't mean that they don't exist.
All right, unless there are any
Jack
other
off. Yeah,
residents
maybe
wanting
I'll talk to her. I mean, I'll be out at PAR quite a bit.
So I'm going to close this out by giving some information about action steps. because obviously we're not done here. All of these residents here and others that are at the hotel right now are, like we have discussed, facing eviction in roughly 2.5 weeks. So we have demanded a meeting with the Office of Housing Stability, and by we, I mean residents of the hotel along with House Keys Action Network. We are demanding that the Office of Housing Stability host with the city, meet with residents to make a plan for how they are going to ensure all residents have housing. Together with that, the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless is responsible to take their part of the action. So we are asking both host and the Colorado Coalition for the Homeless to work together to ensure that no resident is kicked to the streets or the shelters or any unsafe living situation on September 16th. And that is going to mean that we have to stand together really strong for this next couple of weeks. Support the residents in every way we possibly can, because
Bye, Matt. Thanks for being in here.
this is going to take the city and Colorado Coalition to step up to the plate in a way that they rarely or ever do. But it's possible.
problem.
Like it's been said, there are solutions. It is 100% possible. There are countless ways that we can come up with where every resident will be in proper, adequate housing and not on the streets.
Hey, Tommy Stocks, you know it. It's way broken.
We can, extend the stay at that hotel to
Way
everybody
beyond
because a lot of
repair.
people have vouchers. We can get more vouchers in place. There are actions that can be taken to ensure that everybody has housing. The city cannot just pass the buck off to CCH and say it's their responsibility, and then CCH pass the buck off to the city and say it's their responsibility, and nobody take responsibility for ensuring that all of these residents here who are getting literally kicked to the streets and the shelters and all of the conditions that you have seen, folks, right here, are not in that position come the middle of this month or the middle of September. I guess I just say for now, know that we are demanding that meeting. We're going to be demanding that meeting this week. You can consider emailing host or CCH to support that demand, or calling somebody at CCH or host to support that demand.
CCH is Colorado Coalition for the Homeless, and host is Housing and Sustainability.
Make sure that there's an appeal to the owners, corporations that own these damn apartments, step up to the plate as well. Instead of going for a bunch
Yeah,
of-
I'm kind of curious about all that, but I think we're going to have to go. You ready? You all right?
Yeah, this is all about legislative session and funds that are available. If there's no funds available,
there's funds.
Oh yeah, there's funds.
There's funds.
It's just like, who's going to jump up there and say, okay, I'm going to take control of this now?
Well, it's supposed to be that group of people that don't.
There's some, small business administration. Now they're the city council. It used to be the SBA. That's what these guys are. Small business administration.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
I don't want to forget my
you
stuff.
You have to show that there's a delegated authority who's going to allocate, the funds. There's certain things that
Well, the most important thing that happened tonight here for me is that I got to see John.
Well, I'm looking pretty white.
Well. Bye, Brian. Good to see you.
1,000 subscribers.
Say that again. I only
You're
had.
at
I know.
14,000.
I had 25,000 before somebody destroyed my channel.
I'm at like
4,000. Well, you never stream.
I haven't lately. I've been busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm running the mayor's race.
For who?
Ian Thomas Tafoya.
Oh, really? Mr. Tafoya's running for mayor. I'm interested. Do you have a website up?
Yeah, TafoyaForDenver.com. FOR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to see what the issues are.
We're still updating and improving the website, but if you Google him,
Here, let's let Brian talk. He's going to give us a little spiel on who's running.
This is
his candidate for mayor.
Mayor of Denver, right? The reality is the issues or what they've been are talking about today are real. And you know, when I was field director for Lisa Calderon, I actually filmed a woman who was kicked out of hospice, living in diapers, living in a wheelchair, in her wheelchair, and her in her diapers, all zipped up in a tent, being evicted from that spot at night at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that stuff?
Yes, yes.
So, you know, when we look at candidates who have come to the mayor's office with logistics and plans to actually regionally be able to train people on how to build SOS encampments and do them for longer haul periods. You see, we're at City Hall, and that's Colorado State Capitol. And during the Dust Bowl, this was man camps. People surviving homelessness and the environmental tragedies of no rain and all dust and no crops. And they came to Denver and many other cities, and then they went to work, right? They put them out cleaning trenches and pulling weeds and deforesting and whatever it is, and they lived in camps right here in this beautiful park right here. Right? So why can't we consider these options as reality and do them again?
I agree.
Right? I know you were out in your zone earlier today doing a little public service, and you're in that park area where a lot of people are. It's a park. It's shaded. It's near water, so there's downslopes and lower temperatures, and it's cooler.
Yes, and they get kicked out of there for even parking there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, District 4. Remember Kevin Flynn, the fucking asshole. Well, I call him Police District 4 because that's what my viewers refer to when we talk about sweeps, because old Mr. Flynn got together with all those businesses and put up all them bullshit no parking signs, right? And then went out there in the middle of a snowstorm. It was that fucker that was supporting it all. You think he ever responded to me? No. So look, I mean, that's why I'm never down.
Why their office isn't open?
That's why I'm never down.
I was at Flynn's office today.
Were you?
Outside of it, knocking on the door, wondering why this office wasn't open.
Oh, imagine
because they're
that.
afraid of you.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it. But that fucker would never respond to anything. Joel Clark would at least respond and candy coat some shit, get me some trash bags. But he too is Police District 3 and 4. So he knew all of those actions that they were colluding in to do that, to do those sweeps.
They were setting up a zone to make it.
Yes.
And you know, I've seen this actually. You know, the A-line train and the freight train that goes out toward the airport and east of city. You go like Holly, Monaco, even far down as Quebec. There was a lot of housing going on along those tracks, and people parking, and it was very dirty. I'm not gonna lie. Wherever you put humans, if you don't put a trash can,
exactly,
it gets nasty for a while. So that's the issue here, right? If we want a clean city, we have to house people, and we have to continue to house them, and we have to find more creative ways. So I actually know somebody who took plans all the way to the mayor's office to like be the leader in building safe outdoor encampment spaces.
Nice.
And then expected that would transfer to places like Douglas, Adams, Arapahoe counties, right? Because it's not just Denver's problem.
Well, the other counties want to ensure that it's just Denver's problem.
Well, if you look at the, I just saw something today about a major program going on in Douglas County that is giving seniors like a little bit of company, taking food to them, and like helping them make sure that they don't lose the housing they're in.
No shit, Douglas County. Did you hear about Spurlock's program to take people that are getting out of jail and drive them here to Denver and drop them off?
I do know
that
about this.
motherfucker.
Right? And I just told somebody the other day at Sunday breakfast, they're like, do you know how to get, we can get a ticket home? And I'm like, yeah, there's a program. If you promise never to come back, they'll give you a bus ticket out of here. And they're like, what? I'm like, it exists.
If people want bus tickets, honestly and legitimately, call me. If they've got somewhere to go, I want to support that. I'm not a get the fuck out of here.
No, and I get it, but like they asked me, you know, just like frankly, I'm on the street feeding in the Sunday sun. Janet's Kitchen, 10-year anniversary. You know, we're rocking it. And they're, you know, I'm like, yeah, this is a program I automatically know of. I know there's others, and we would have done the same if they were serious.
Yeah.
You know.
But to put, I hate it when they tell me I just want to get out of here and go somewhere else because it's going to be worse for them if they don't know anyone or they don't have any.
Metropolis now. You know, Denver's a metropolis.
Well,
there's nothing wholesome here. It's all about the cosmopolitan, the pretty, you know, the
John's at
socially
par.
elite.
No housing yet.
You made $26 million, you know, at your benefit. How much of that $26 million is applied to what that benefit actually was?
Right.
You know, and those are the things. That, the check valve. The check valve. Nobody goes and looks at the check valve. You know where.
Are you doing mutual aid Mondays? Is that why you're down here?
It's
too?
actually why I was here was because they were out of food last week. They ran out, and so I normally like to be phone banking and doing mayoral work and campaign and all this other stuff. And for the last few months, and I've just been like, you know, I got to slow down. I need to come feed my people.
Yeah.
My neighbor who's been feeding for me. He's at Burning Man, so you know I gotta make
It's
sure.
hard. You could spread yourself 500 different directions.
Oh, I do.
Get in touch with me. I want to read about Tafoya's campaign.
I will.
That's interesting.
Actually, next week
Uh-huh.
we're gonna be. Tomorrow we're in Montbello.
Okay.
Next week we're gonna be at Hamden and Sheridan.
Oh, okay.
For the Doghouse Tavern for happy hour.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I know where that's at.
So you can come hang out and talk. And I'll send you the.
Yeah, please do, Brian. I look forward to that. Take care. Yeah, he does a lot of work with helping with stuff like this.
He's good for, you know.
Good people. They're good people.
I could see, you know, I was going to go up and I was going to tell that girl.
You were going to talk, weren't you?
No,
you were almost going to talk.
Yeah.
I knew it.
No, that girl, I can't talk because it hurts.
Oh, does it hurt too much? John just had some dentistry work, so he's still recovering.
I don't want to screw it up either because that's a lot of nerves. You know, that for many years, fed organs and things.
Hey, everybody, if you haven't seen this building, this is Denver's City and County building. This is where they do the infamous Christmas light display. Across the street is Civic Center Park, where they, remember, had fencing up where no homeless were allowed. There's our state capitol with the gold dome. I hate it down here. I don't even like to be down here anymore. It's rare. I'm down here, but it's not very often.
You know, you got to get a senator or a congressman in a legislative session where 3 of them have to vote in favor of, you know, utilizing funds, okay, or, you know, allocating or, what do you call it, banking the money?
Stealing?
Well, and there's a problem. There has never been anybody with good intention.
No. In public office.
And they go in with, no, I mean, look at Marilyn Hickey.
Marilyn Hickey from Hickey Ministries.
Yeah, look at the baker. They had good intention to begin with.
Oh, and then they got all corrupted on the cocaine.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not just cocaine. They had good intention. You know, you get all that money.
This is Mutual Aid Monday.
Now you have to defend it. You know, good intent is gone.
Right.
You're having to defend.
This is where groups of volunteers come together and feed a meal, a nice hot meal, to those in need.
There's all kinds of things. That money is now going to.
Look at this cute.
And good intention is gone. The good intent isn't there. You know, I mean, it's a hard line. You want to do something with your life. You have to program your brain and say, that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
And it'll happen. But if you don't, you know, or you flip, or you know, you're running all these other things.
My little pup is sweet.
I get a company going, 7, 8 employees. They all start wanting to
You're an
party.
entrepreneur, John.
Yeah,
That's
they
what you
start
are.
wanting to party. They start wanting to
Wanting to
control
party?
drugs. Well, you're going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But then when it
This
becomes a
stream, let me,
priority-
I hope I didn't just get.
consider it.
Okay, I'm back. I doubt I was good on that. I already monetized this stream, so I'm probably going to get nailed on that.
They go with the loudest.
That's why I always try to wait to monetize them.
Strongest.
What do you think of this electric car situation here, John? Are you a believer that this is the way to go here?
I believe that is.
Do you? Why?
Because there's no carbon footprint.
No carbon footprint. So what about the battery in this thing?
Well, the battery, if you come up with a gel, or you come up with
which they don't have,
electrolyte,
which they don't have. I'm talking right now. What's in front of us?
They do have. They've got pulse ion technology where it's running on the vibrations.
But this is supposed to be about. But this is supposed to be about less fossil fuels. So what is powering this right now? How is this thing getting power to power that battery that's a toxic explosion on the environment? How is this thing getting power? Is this getting power by coal right now?
Coal, natural gas, or nuclear.
And what's going to happen? And what's going to happen when you got to start paying for this?
They do have wind, and they do have solar. Solar and wind are.
Solar and wind are definitely not powering this thing.
Geothermal.
Oh, you do have to pay. So, okay, what's the price? Is there another one here I can screw with? Because I don't. Well, there's other plugs here, so I could technically be.
You can put a substance that freezes at, let's say, 120.
Price. It's free.
Degrees. It freezes at 125 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you put a substance in there that boils at 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you have a volatile reaction, the stimulation of the electron.
Really?
And you get electricity.
Nothing's free. Who's paying for this, John? It says free, so who's paying for it?
Probably the city.
The city? Who pays the city?
Well, there's all kinds of bandwidth.
John, answer the question. Who pays the city?
Taxpayer.
Thank you. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you for telling me what I needed to hear.
No, but in reality, you can take so many different things and convert, converters.
That sun is bright.
That's where these guys, these senators and these congressmen and stuff like that, that's what they control, and they allocate converters. A processing plant that has this chemical in it takes crude oil and converts it into petrol. Or
Right.
gasoline.
Right.
Those converters,
But we still have to have oil.
they don't want anybody to have those converters.
Here are my cars over here.
Exxon, Shell, Mobil, they're not giving up their converters.
Converters?
Yeah,
What do they convert?
crude oil into petroleum.
Gotcha.
Oxidized.
All right, y'all. What'd you think of all this horse shit? Aren't you glad I don't spend all my time live streaming this? I mean, please don't. That was not very nice of me to say it was all horse shit, because it was a matter of supporting their efforts. Their efforts are not horse shit, and these people are not horse shit. But
I mean,
to spend time this way is horse shit, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they have to be organized. and they have to target the senator. They have to target
Yeah, I wish they would have said Flynn's name.
the Industrial Commission. I mean, this is unorganized demonstration.
Tonight? Are you talking about tonight?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I thought that was.
They did okay.
They did pretty good organizing this one, John.
But you have to call the minutes. That committee.
Well, it didn't. The meeting hadn't started. That
Yeah.
was just public comment.
Yeah, it was public. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
See, but when you go at those people like that, you want to say, okay, I'm calling this meeting October or whatever the day is, this session, to be heard in public forum to directly come up with some sort of solution or to possibly consider various solutions to the homeless problem.
Right.
You know, and until they handle it, you know, as a legislative enactment, they're not going to get nothing done. They
I
can't.
agree.
You know, they can't. I mean, it just won't
Somebody said horse shit can make gas too.
Horse shit, yes. There's all kinds. There's methane. You
Methane.
know. That's
From the cows. We got lots of cows.
That's a clean gas. There's
Clean
natural
gas. Natural gas. That's me. I'm the natural gas.
Okay, let me see. Are you saying because horse shit is fertilizer?
Well, not necessarily.
But
Well, used as fertilizer.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
mostly
heck yeah.
as fertilizer. Okay, so then you conquered the
Horse shit concept?
yeah
Yeah, and I got some chickens.
methane production.
Did I tell you I got 6 chickens?
You got chickens.
I love chickens.
Are they the funniest little things?
I got me 6 hens.
Did you see what happened though?
With what?
The dog and the chicken. The little.
Don't tell me.
The little hot dog.
Don't
Horny
tell
dog.
me.
Yeah.
Don't tell me a dog ripped a chicken's head off.
No, they made it.
No!
They have a,
No!
They have a chicken dog and they have a dog chicken.
Oh, okay. Is that on the internet?
Yep, it's on the internet. And I'll be god darn those. The dog is running around like a chicken, you know?
The dog is running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
He doesn't have any front paws.
That's a concept.
He didn't get front paws.
You got chicken feet?
Well, I didn't look close enough there, no. But
All right.
The chicken looks, he didn't get feathers. The chicken got fur.
You want to see my girl's feathers? They're very pretty. I'll have to send you some pictures.
What are you doing with chickens? Are you in the country now?
No.
In town?
Yeah. You can have hens. I got me 6 of them.
How many can you have?
I don't even know. I don't care. I don't ask for permission.
I used to go over to Birdie. She was the lady that rehabilitated wild birds that got hurt. She was over off of Evans and maybe just a couple blocks off of Broadway.
Oh, yeah?
Going east, yeah. Yeah, and her whole house, her whole yard was nothing but birds. They called her bird. Even she had this old.
Like exotic birds?
No, just any old bird that got smashed or ran into a building or anything.
Yeah.
And needed to be rehabilitated.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, and she collected bird seed. You know, she collected funds from all over the community. Yeah, Birdie, she was big business. I mean, she was great. But that's what these guys need to do, and they need to realize just by demonstrating, I think you're going to get nothing. Absolutely.
I know.
Nothing. You're going to get more money dumped into the city, into the homeless. You're going to get more and more money, but it's never going to reach the homeless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where I differ in begging government for more.
Well, those guys.
We don't even get them to do what they need to do with what they have.
They don't even know what to do with what. Most of those people that were sitting there, they got their foundation, they got their city barns, and they're done. They don't give a flying shit what's going on.
Exactly. And they get paid regardless.
Yeah.
All right, we got to drive. So we're going to close this. We're going to end this stream and say goodbye to everybody. we'll keep you posted with what's going on with John. We'll just continue to work on stuff, right, John?
Strings coming out of the roof of my mouth.
He's got stitches.
Stitches all over the teeth.
He's got stitches, so eating is hard right now.
I'm a little grumpy.
And he's a little grumpy because he probably needs something for a little bit of pain. So we're gonna go address that. I'm gonna go eat some dinner, go to bed, and get up and do it all over again. What do you say, John?
Well, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
For sure.
All right, you guys, so this is all for documentation purposes. I know it gets boring as hell, but people don't want to actually accept the facts. These are the facts. This is it. It's live. So thanks for being in here, Miss Jamie. Thank you for everything today, you guys. Thank you, Defend. It was good to see you all twice in here today. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Peace.
Love, truth, and light.